I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, I am glad to stand before you. This day, sisters and brothers, is one of the annual Sabbath days. And to answer a question that was asked by one person, and that was, is this a Sabbath or a memorial? All Sabbaths are memorials, sisters and brothers. And the reason it is because it reminds you of what is going to happen in the future. The weekly Sabbath remind you that there is going to be 1,000 years of peace where Jesus is going to rule this earth. Him and the people in the first resurrection. And on and on and on, because these are memorials and these are days that need to be kept. The reason is because when you understand what the Lord's Sabbath days are about, then you understand what God is doing. Lord is not one to just give you stuff that, well, I'm going to carry on some ritual. Lord is not a vain God. Everything he do is informative and designed to educate. Designed to educate. So you know what's going on. People that go to the Israel of God and been here for a while and study with us know that you will never hear come out of their mouth when Gabriel blow his horn. Gabriel is the messenger of God. He is the light bringer. He is the brand new Lucifer. He is the one that took Satan's job when God fired him and threw him out of heaven. He's also the one that everybody thinks is God the Holy Ghost. Think about what I'm saying, sisters and brothers. But this day is the day that they think that Gabriel is going to bring, but we're going to find out, sisters and brothers, it's more than one angel that blows a trumpet. That's why it's called a memorial of the blowing of trumpets. And we're going to show you that this is the way that this thing is going to end is always the way it's going to begin. You need to know this, sisters and brothers, because a lot of things are going to happen. And it's going to belie all of what you've been taught about the Lord going to steal people off the earth and everything. The truck going to be, car going to be going down the street, and all of a sudden it's going to run off in the ditch. By the time that happened, because the Lord talking about two women grinding at a mill. One is taken and another one is left. That indeed is going to happen, but by the time that happens, sister and brother, there will have been so much drama that is going on this earth that nobody will be looking up and thinking, I wonder when the Lord is going to come. Everybody know that there will be great drama. And I'm going to tell you something. During this time, during this whole time, everybody will be able to see the Lord. But brother, how can we look that far? I ain't concerned about that. The Lord said when he come, everybody going to see him. The Lord said when the heaven rolled back like a scroll, all of the earth is going to mourn, and they're going to call for the rocks and for the mountain to fall on them. Hide us from the face of the Lamb and from the wrath of the Lamb and from him that sits on the throne. That tells me somebody is seeing something. Be it television, be it telescope, be it specially enhanced eyes for that particular time, you're going to see something. You don't run and hide and run in the rocks for nothing. Now, you know if the people are going to see him that's going to be running for the rocks in the mountain, you know the righteous people are going to be able to look at it. That's right. And it won't be no secret, sisters and brothers. Won't be no secret. God don't deal in secrets. He's God. He don't have to hide nothing from nobody. He will tell you, I'm going to come, I'm going to kick your dough in, and I'm going to knock your teeth out. Then he will get a bullhorn and say, here I come. And you can't do nothing but sit there, and he's going to kick your dough in, and he's going to knock your teeth out. You won't even have the strength or the power to run away, because that's the way the Lord operates. And we're going to start this, sisters and brothers, in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, because this is always, this chapter, once you understand this chapter, you know what God is doing. See, that's why you get New Testament Christians don't have a clue of what the Lord is doing. I mean, don't have a clue. People have been in church all their life and don't know the biblical definition of sin. That is a travesty. And people always saying, if you sin, you're going to go to hell. But you don't know what sin is, so how do you know how to stop it? And the source of sin, your preacher threw in the garbage can. You ain't got to keep them old laws. It is strange. Because of sin, God, that same Jesus that you think is a powder puff, because of sin, he drowned the whole world and saved only 8 souls. Because of sin, he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Because of sin, he told Israel to destroy 7 nations in Canaan. Because of sin, he killed thousands of Israelites and put us into captivity and said, you're going to be sold for slaves. You're going to be hid away in prison houses. Your youngsters going to behave arrogant against the older people. Mm-hmm. And you don't know what's coming. And children going to rule over you. All that's been written. You get on the school bus, old people sitting there, get on the city bus on the L, them youngsters that's cussing and everything else, you sitting there trembling. I hope they don't notice me. You don't even know that that's prophecy. You be surprised, sisters and brothers, when you get some understanding of what's going on. Then you won't be surprised no more. Sometimes when you're getting hurt and you can't stop it, it's a little better when you know why you're being hurt. Because when you find out why you've been hurt, then you know what to do to stop being hurt.
That's right.
Think about it. We're going to start this at 23 and 1. And we're going to deal with this Feast of the Trumpets because this is a very important day, sisters and brothers. A very important day. Guy sticking his finger. What you want, man? Is that for me? Well, you don't do that. You get on the horn or something. You distracted me. Boy, I'm going to have to get rid of this screw I got. I bet Warner Brothers never had this problem. Leviticus 23 and verse 1. 23 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Right away, sisters and brothers. You get people say, what are you going to do today? Well, we're keeping a feast day tonight, even though it's not an eating feast. You keep the Jewish stuff. I didn't see nowhere where it said it was a Jewish feast, was it?
No, sir.
You keep the laws of Moses. Look like to me now, maybe I'm wrong, it is the Lord telling Moses what to do. If these were the laws of Moses, then Moses would be telling them, look, Lord, these are my feasts, and I want you to inaugurate them. Mm-hmm. He said, these are the feasts of the Lord. Skip down to verse 4 and go ahead.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy assemblies. You're supposed to have this, sisters and brothers, which you shall proclaim in their season. Like we have a whole lot of Israelites, sisters and brothers, don't keep the feast, don't keep the law, but because they say, well, you can't keep the law in your enemy's land. Okay, when I'm in Israel, I can't touch my neighbor's wife. But since I'm in America, all I have to do is I can touch my neighbor's wife, I can touch his house, I can touch his money, and I'm still good with the God of Israel? I don't think so.
No, sir. Sometimes,
sisters and brothers, our ignorance is so defined until it is scary. These are the feasts of the Lord. And you're supposed to have them in all your generation and in all of your dwelling. That means if you're living somewhere, you're supposed to keep this.
Yeah, that's right, brother.
So we're going to get to the feast at hand. Skip down to verse 23. Verse 23. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying,
Go ahead.
In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath.
Now, in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath. So what is this day?
A Sabbath.
It's a Sabbath day.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
A memorial of blowing of trumpets.
A memorial of blowing of trumpets. See, that's what I'm saying. The Sabbath day and memorial, one and the same, because it's going to remind you of something that's going to take place. The Lord done told you, but you have to tell you over and over, because our thought is about as long as a click on the M1.
That's right.
So we have to keep telling you over and over and over. This shall be a memorial of the blowing of trumpets. Go ahead and read.
And holy convocation.
And holy assembly. Go ahead and read.
Ye shall do no servile work therein. Ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Now, it tells you right there what to do. He said, you shall do no servile work therein. That means you don't go to work. Anything beyond that, sisters and brothers, you can read it yourself. Too often people ask me, well, brother, boy, do this, match this, and do. I'm not maligning you for asking me, but I'm telling you, what you read is what I read.
That's right.
And being that we speak the same language, I can't give you more than what I read, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
These things I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
Because, you know what, but the reason is because we are so used to this preacher telling us what they think the Lord said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that latitude, sisters and brothers. I'm not going there. We're going to read it together. So if we all mess up, we all mess up together. I ain't going to be the one standing in the middle and everybody pointing the finger. Well, you know, Lord, he told me that, we read this together.
That's right.
So what is it to this? We just read it. So we are going to investigate this, because these trumpets mean something, sister and brother. The trumpet represent the coming of the Lord, the coming of a king, marshaling the people to war, even telling the people when to run or when trouble is coming. Everything that the Lord had a nation to do, He's letting you know that it is the trumpets that do the warning. Now let's go into Exodus the 19th chapter. And the Lord is getting ready to come and talk to His people. And we're going to show you what's going on. You know, I've had people tell me, well, Brother Boone, you ain't thorough enough. How is that? Well, you know, some things we don't understand. How come you don't understand it? Well, you know, I said, that's the problem, you think.
Mm-hmm.
You get in the book, we're going to read this thing together. Everything I read is you going to read it. And whatever I get out of it, you're going to get it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can read it. Stop trying to throw your preacher under the bus. And that's what's going on. 19 and verse 10, Exodus 19 chapter and verse 10. 19 and 10. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow. And let them wash their clothes.
Go ahead.
And be ready against the 3rd day. For the 3rd day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
He said, I want you to go and sanctify the people. Tell them to wash their clothes. Tell them to do some other stuff too, but we ain't concerned with that. Mm-hmm. He said, because the 3rd day, the Lord will come down and talk with the people. Skip down to verse 14 and let's see what happens. Go ahead.
And Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the 3rd day. Come not at your wives.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mountain, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And
now look, the 3rd day before the Lord come is thunder and lightning, and then they heard that trumpet blowing. Long and loud. Go ahead and read.
And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. And they stood at the neither part of the mountain.
So they came out to meet with God, sisters and brothers. The Lord was bringing them commandments Himself. But the thing about it is, before He came, the trumpet was blowing long and loud. So He brought the people out. Go ahead and read.
And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire.
Go ahead.
And the smoke there was ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice.
Now, the Lord has ascended on the mountain there. And when the trumpet sounded long and louder and louder and louder, then Moses spoke, and the people heard the Lord speak back. And the Lord spoke the 10 Commandments. We're not going to deal with that today. We're just going to deal with the effects of the trumpet. Now, the Lord gave them his 10 Commandments, and after a while, the people couldn't stand it no longer. Let's go into Exodus, the 20th chapter. And we're going to read, start at verse 18. Exodus, the 20th chapter, and verse 18. Okay, read it.
And all the people saw the thundering, and the lightning, and the noise of the trumpet.
Go ahead.
And the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off.
Now, they were looking at this thunder and the lightning, and the noise of the trumpet. They couldn't take no more. They removed. In other words, they ran, sisters and brothers. They got on away from that. Told Moses, we don't want to hear that no more. But no, the trumpet was blown. Because that represented that the Lord was coming to the earth, and he was coming to talk with Israel, face to face. Trumpet, sister and brother. And every time the Lord make a move, trumpets are blown. Because next time the Lord come back, he coming to go to war. And he illustrates this in every move that he makes. Let's go into Numbers, the 31st chapter. Numbers chapter 31. If people understood the 23rd chapter of Leviticus, sisters and brothers, the whole so-called Christian teaching would be reversed. Because this thing is just wrong. That's all to it. People get upset when you say that. Well, you know, I've been a Christian all my life. I don't blame you for trying, sisters and brothers. I'm not going to lie to you. I said, when I was younger, I used to be angry at the people that went to these so-called Christian churches. What I mean is so-called Christian, because if you're a true Christian, you're going to keep the commandments.
That's right.
You're going to keep the dietary law. Mm-hmm. You are going to keep the Lord's Sabbath day, Saturday, the 7th day of the week.
That's right.
Well, that's strange how everything changed after Christ left. But while he was here, he did everything that Israel did.
That's right.
As his custom was.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, the 4th chapter.
That's right. Bro.
He went into the Sabbath, into the synagogue on the Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
As his custom was.
That's right.
All of a sudden, Jesus left. Apostles died. Everything done changed.
Yep.
Ain't nothing changed. Now all of a sudden the Lord's going to steal you off the earth and Gabriel going to blow her home. Numbers 31 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterwards shalt thou be gathered unto thy people.
See, the Lord is a God of vengeance. He says, so I want you to send them against the Midianites. After you get through Moses, you're going to die. Because Moses messed up at the waters of strife. Go ahead and read.
And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites.
Go ahead.
And avenge the Lord of Midian. Of every tribe 1,000, throughout all the tribes of Israel, shall you send to the war.
Go ahead.
So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war.
Now the Lord, Moses, I want you to arm the people. I want you to go and deal with them Midianites. So they got 1,000 out of each tribe, which is 12,000 soldiers, but somebody else was among them. Go ahead and read.
And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe.
Go ahead.
Them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, to the war, with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand.
Ain't that something? So he sent the priests with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. See, people think that war is totally ignored by God. He ain't got nothing to do with it. Sisters and brothers, the Lord sets up kings and he sets up take down kings.
That's right.
The Lord sent people to knock off other people, and then he sent somebody to knock them off. Mm-hmm. The Lord causes discord and killing among nations because they're wrong, and he's the one that called peace. But we don't take side. Oh, look at them people. We should stop them from doing genocide. Maybe the one that's sending them to do genocide going to do a little on you too if you get in the way.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Lord sent 12,000 soldiers. Then he sent the priests with the trumpets to blow. Because the trumpets is the one that's going to call the battle, sister and brother. Yes. This is what you got to understand. When the Lord sends you to war, he has some order about his war. And let me show you that. So we know that the priests are going to war too, ain't they? With the trumpets. Now let's go into Joshua the 6th chapter and let's look at the taking down of Jericho. Joshua chapter 6. Because not only the trumpets, and all of a sudden he's going to start putting numbers on them. The Lord sets everything in order, and he sets it perfect, and we got to understand that. That's what I like about this God. He don't do no slack work.
No.
And if you have some knowledge of his word, you don't have slack knowledge. You know exactly what you're talking to.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, I believe. I know. And I proved it. How do you prove it? Go back and say what is going to happen in the past and see if it happened or not. All you got to do, sisters and brothers, is study this word, and the Lord will give you what you need.
Yeah, that's right.
To get where you need to be. Joshua 6th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. This is when Joshua had come across, and Israel them had come across the river, Jordan, and now they're getting ready to take on the people in the land of Canaan, because the Lord had given this to Israel. 6:1, go ahead.
Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thy hand Jericho and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor.
See that, Joshua? You see how they trembling behind the wall? That's because they know that their time is up. I have given it to them. I've given it to them. It's all that simple, sisters and brothers. Like brother said to me this morning, the preacher scared of you. I said, they ain't scared for nothing. Because the God that I serve don't compromise with the enemy.
That's right.
It is a win, lose, take no prisoner.
That's right.
Do your best, because I'm going to do my worst. That's the way you have to deal with that. He said, see, I have given them to you. They're behind the wall trembling. Go ahead and read.
3. And ye shall compass the city, all you men of war, and go round about the city once.
Go ahead.
Thus shalt thou do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns.
Oh, here come the priest now. See, people don't associate priests with war. You understand what I'm saying? Well, you know, you act like that and you're a preacher. I said, you should have seen what them priests did in the old days.
That's right.
I'm just going to knock you out. They cut your head off. 7 priests with 7 trumpets of ram horn. Go ahead and read.
And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times. And the priest shall blow with the trumpet.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout. And the wall of the city shall fall down flat.
Go ahead.
And the people shall ascend up every man straight before him.
Now he said, now look, when the 7 priests blow the 7 trumpets, y'all shout. And then the wall's going to fall down. Now I want everybody to rush up before. Sisters and brothers, this is not just what happened in the past. This is giving you a snapshot of the future. And you're going to know this when you get out of here. Go ahead and read.
6. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priest and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horn before the ark of the Lord.
Oh, so now the ark of the covenant is involved in this. You know what the ark of the covenant represents? The presence of the Lord, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
When the ark of the covenant go up, you know the Lord is in the presence. That's why Israel was so raunchy, they still lost, but when they brought the ark of the covenant, when they were fighting against the Philistines, and Israel gave a shout, and the Philistines said, what's happening? They said, the Lord is there. Right. The ark of the covenant is among them. The Philistines started to tremble. And their leader said, be men. Because the Lord gave them strength then, because the Lord had determined to knock the Israelites off there. But even they knew that the ark of the covenant represented the presence of the Lord. Trumpets come, here come the Lord. Just like when he gave the commandments, when the trumpets blew, here come the Lord. But this time, he coming to do something different. What verse are?
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
And he said unto the people, pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord.
Uh-huh.
It came to pass when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horn passed on before the Lord, and blew with the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them.
Now notice now, the priests with the horns went first. And then here come the ark of the Lord. The battle didn't start. Before then, the battle was orchestrated by them. Mm-hmm. Here come the priests with the horn. They blew the horn. Here come the ark of the covenant, followed behind. This have great significance. Let's skip down to verse 12. Verse 12 and go ahead.
And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. And 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually.
Go ahead.
And blew with the trumpets, and the army went before them. But the reward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets.
Now look, so the battle came behind the priests and behind the ark of the Lord. So they went on and they blew with the trumpets. So we're going to skip down to verse 15, verse 15, and go ahead.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city.
Now when they blew the 7th time, the Lord told the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. Go ahead and read.
And the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent.
And we another little message on the side too, sisters and brothers. Think about the whole city of Jericho. The only one that was saved was a prostitute, and her household was saved because of her.
That's right.
You know why she was saved? Because she believed the messengers of the Lord. Mm-hmm. It ain't got nothing what you do yesterday. It is what you do today and from now on. See, the Lord give us all kinds of little bitty messages if you could only pay some attention. Mm-hmm. Get a lot of people, yeah, you see them old girls out there walking the street, blah, blah, blah. Hey, might not have no milk for the baby. Might not have no grocery. Might be home. Can't get on the social program. What you do is you go out there and say, look, I got a job for you. You can pay this kind of money. You can take care of your baby. If she said no, then you are wicked. But he said, yeah, you sure enough you can do, yeah. You got one condition. What's that? You got to stop prostituting. I bet you your last money she will run to get away from it. So sometimes, sisters and brothers, the Lord is God. And he knows who would do right if right was available. Mm-hmm. So much for the holy condemners. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Only one that was saved was a harlot. And what saved her? Her faith. That's an ingredient. That's the main ingredients of salvation.
That's right.
Her faith. And so she stood there and did the right thing. What verse was that?
That was 17.
Go skip down to verse 20 and read it. Let's see what happened.
So the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpets. And it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city.
Now when the trumpet blew, the people gave a shout, the wall of Jericho fell down, and the people went straight up and took the city. All of a sudden, the city of Jericho didn't belong to the people of Jericho no more. It belonged to God and his people.
That's right.
That have a great message, sisters and brothers. Now we're going to go in the end time and look at this thing and see if there's anything different. Let's go into Revelation the 6th chapter. Revelation the 6th chapter. We're going to see if we have any differences here. That's when I hear people talking about, well, I'm a New Testament Christian now, so I'm listening to a person that don't have a clue of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have to know this. People get mad. Well, you don't have no monopoly on the word and all, but I can read.
That's right.
Well, I don't care what you think. I ain't listening. Hey, you ain't hurting me. You hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been a Baptist. I was Baptist born. When I die, I'm gonna be a Baptist gone to the lake of fire. We're gonna make it real, sister and brother. Because if I can't tell you the way it is, there ain't no need of me talking.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all that simple. Revelation 6 and verse 12. Verse 12. Okay, go ahead.
And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth.
Now this is when the Lord getting ready to come. First thing is, the moon gonna go black, sun gonna turn red, the stars gonna fall. Go ahead and read.
Even as the fig tree casts up her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Do this sound like something secret is about to happen?
No, sir.
All of a sudden the sun go out, the moon go out, and the heaven roll back. Something is going on, sisters and brothers. I don't care where you are on this planet, you're going to see that. Go ahead and read.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Now who all did that cover? Everybody.
That's right.
They hid themselves because they saw what was going on. All of a sudden now, you thinking that the word of God is jive. Now you know it is for real because it's going eyeball with you.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Oh, you mean the Lamb has some wrath?
That's right.
You never know it if you go to the regular church. Jesus loved everybody.
That's right.
That's what I hear people saying. Well, the Lord loved everybody. I ask the question, then why is it that you got a lake of fire? Who going there? That's some tough love.
Yep.
I don't want that kind of love.
Nope.
They said, hide us from the wrath of the Lamb. Go ahead and read.
For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
And who shall be able to stand? I mean, it's going to be some real wrath.
That's right.
You sitting around waiting to be raptured off? I got you. I want to tell you something. You got something coming. But now the Lord is getting ready to deal on this earth. At this time, his servant and the whole world will have gone under a time that's called the Great Tribulation. But when that heaven rolled back like a scroll, sun turned black and the moon red and the stars fall. See, stars ain't going to get to earth, sister and brother. That's why Peter talked about heaven being on fire. That's why everybody going to see it. Because they ain't going to be able to come into this atmosphere because some stars are bigger than the earth. However, like Peter said, with the heavens being on fire, you ain't going to notice that flames everywhere. You see a nice blue sky with a little cloud here or there. All of a sudden you see the heavens roll back. Everything burning. And then all of a sudden you see the Lamb sitting on that throne looking down at you.
That's right.
And he is going to bring some wrath on this earth. But before he brings some wrath, he always remember his children. Just like when he got ready to drown the whole world, didn't he see Noah?
That's right, bro. Yeah, he did.
That's what I like about this God. I don't care how busy he is killing, he ain't never too busy to save.
That's right.
All you got to do is be right.
Hallelujah.
Now we're going to start at Revelation 7 chapter. Revelation 7 chapter and verse 1. Verse 1. Go ahead.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Now, this is not talking about the air that blows on your sister and brother. These are talking about the nation. That's why in the 7th chapter of Daniel, Daniel said he saw the 4 winds of heaven rise up from the sea. And there was 4 great beasts. that rose up from the sea. That's from the sea of people. And it started with Babylon and ended up with Rome, and under which we are still operating. So we're not talking about air here. He said, hold back the nations. I don't want them to go to war. I don't want them to fire one bullet until I seal my servant. Go ahead and read.
2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
Go ahead.
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead.
He said, I don't want you to hurt nothing until we have sealed the servants of God in our forehead. But everything started with Israel. Go ahead and read.
And I heard the number of them that were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000
Go ahead.
of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
So 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Yeah, certain people teach that, well, these are, this 144,000, these are the saints. These are not the saints. You got another 144,000 in the 14th chapter of Revelation. Those are 2 different people, sets of people. You know why? Because there's another number come with this 144,000. Skip now to verse 9 and read it.
After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
So it was more than just 144,000, wasn't it?
That's right.
It's just like Paul always used to say, Jew first and then the Gentile, or the stranger. The Lord just always put Israel out front. That 144,000, next time somebody tell you, well, you say, well, these are the saints. Ask them how they're all Israelites. And the ones that teach you this are not Israelites.
That's right.
And I know that. I know the doctrine. I'm going to tell you something. The best way to deal with your enemy, and I didn't slip a tongue when I say your enemy. Because when Jesus said he was going to die, be crucified, Peter said, oh, Lord, no, you ain't going to be dead. He said, get behind me, Satan.
That's right.
You have to recognize who your enemy is. Who is it? One that teaches contrary to the word of God.
That's right.
I don't care if he's in your house, if he's your father, your brother, your son, or your nephew. We have to learn this, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
Because until you learn how to think like a soldier, you can't go to war.
That's right.
Learn it.
That's right.
So he sealed these. Now once he had sealed his servant, let's see what else happened. Let's go into the 8th chapter of Revelation. And we're going to start reading at verse 1, 8 and 1. Now, he done sealed his servants now. Now, something else is getting ready to happen now. Verse 1, go ahead.
And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour.
Go ahead.
And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets.
How many angels was it?
7.
How many trumpets were they given?
7.
How many priests went with Joshua them?
7.
How many horns did they have?
They had 7.
Because Joshua them was a forerunner of how this thing's going in, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
That's the difference in having some knowledge. You know how it's going to end. You know when the end starts. You know all the signs. Because the Lord is a thorough God. He don't leave one stone unturned. Now skip now to verse 6 and read it.
And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. Because ain't nothing going to happen until the trumpet is blown, sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers. I mean, nothing. Because the Lord has already said it that way. So the 7 angels prepared themselves to sound. We're going to pick up a few of them, but we ain't going to do it all. But to remember, the trumpets don't create the drummer. The trumpets announces the drummer.
Right.
So now we got to find us another set of people here. Another set of angels. Let's go into Revelation the 15th chapter. Revelation the 15th chapter. See, when you know what's going on in the beginning, then you know how it's supposed to go in the end.
That's right.
Then you can do what Paul said. You can rightfully divide the scripture. Put everything where it's supposed to be up against everything it's supposed to be up against.
That's right.
Revelation 15 and verse 1. Read it.
And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. For in them is filled up the wrath of God.
And he saw another sign. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. I mean, after this, ain't no more. Mm-hmm. And in them fill up the wrath of God. Why 7 and not 6 or 8? Because the 7 angels are the ones going to call this wrath. Yes, right. One horn blow, some drummer fall. Mm-hmm. Skip down to verse 6. Verse 6 and go ahead.
And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. Now
these angels that get this vial, they represent the wrath of God. Go ahead and read.
And the temple was filled with the smoke from the glory of the Lord, and from his power. And no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled.
Now, was nobody able to enter into the temple until the Lord had done what he's going to do. Now let's go back to Revelation 8 chapter. Put you a little marker here because we're going to flip in and out just for a minute. Not much. Back in Revelation 8 chapter, he said that 7 angels went forth to blow their trumpets. But let's see what happened when they blew their trumpets. 8 and 7, verse 7. Revelation 8 chapter and verse 7. 8 and 7. Okay, blow it. And that street talk, man, you know I blew on it. Brother said all the time, yeah, I blew on that jig. Okay, blow it.
The first angel sounded, and then followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth.
Wait a minute now. When the first angel sounded, there followed fire and hail mingled with what? With blood, and it was cast what?
Upon the earth.
Upon the earth. Wait a minute. You mean this is happening to the earth, sisters and brothers? Yes. Yeah. Ain't nobody raptured nowhere now. The Lord only marked his servants.
That's right.
But ain't nobody been raptured nowhere. Everybody is still here. Go ahead and read.
And the third part of trees was burned up. And all green grass was burned up.
Ain't that something? Mm-hmm. Let's go into Revelation 16 chapter. Told you the whole lot. Revelation 16 and verse 1. 16 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth.
Go ahead.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image.
Now we read what that sore was. In that area, everything was in trouble, sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go back to the 8th chapter. I told you we're going to flip in and out a little bit, because I just want you to understand what's going on. And we're going to read a little further. 8, and we're going to start at verse 8. 8 and 8. Okay, go ahead.
And the second angel sounded, as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood.
Now think about it. The second angel sounded, and the Lord threw a mountain or something out, and all of a sudden the third part of the sea had become just like blood. Go ahead and read.
And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died.
And whatever was in that area died, sisters and brothers. He's not doing all the seed, but the third part, because there's a reason for this. But we'll deal with that at another time. Go ahead and read.
And the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven.
Go ahead.
Burning as it were a lamp.
Now the third angel sounded, and something like a star from heaven, burning like a lamp. Go ahead and read.
And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of water.
Go ahead.
And the name of the star is called wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood.
Ain't that something? Go ahead and read.
And many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter.
Now, he done messed up the waters, polluted it. Now you can't drink. If you drink of the water, you're going to die. This is the Lord is doing this, sister and brother. Right. But you don't know that because you think Jesus is nice and cuddly. Mm-hmm. But the people said, hide us from the face of the Lamb and because the day of his wrath is come.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars.
Go ahead.
So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise.
Now you think that the earth gonna miss all this drama going on? No, sisters and brothers. That's why they're so crazy. Like they made this movie, Gentiles made this movie Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden people, I wonder what happened to John. He just disappeared. Did you see Mary? She just evaporated. You know, Philip's car just ran off in the ditch and we looked in there and he wasn't in it. Fairy tale.
That's right.
All this drama is going on. You mean ain't nobody noticing this? What verse are we?
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
And I beheld, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of the heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound.
He said, you think this is bad? You ain't seen bad yet. I say, it said, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the sound of the last three trumpets. It just gets worse, sisters and brothers. That's why the Lord marked his servant. Mm-hmm. It just gets worse. Let's go in the 9th chapter of Revelation, and let's start at verse 1. Revelation 9 and 1. Remember, these are the trumpets blown. Every time this trumpet blow, some drama come up on earth. And ain't but 7 going to blow, sisters and brothers.
That's all.
The Lord set it in order in the days of Moses and Joshua and him. Verse 1, go ahead.
And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth.
See, these stars are angels, whether you know it or not. Mm-hmm. But this is one going to fall here. He ain't get back there, but he's still called the prince of the air. He trying. Mm-hmm. Remember, we got 3 heavens.
That's right.
He might be up there. He got further the planets and the birds, but no, the Lord just going to slap him back down. You can't come here. He can fly. He got 6 wings. Who is this star? Go ahead and read.
And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit.
Go ahead.
And there rose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace.
Go ahead.
And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
Sisters and brothers, this is the armies of the European Economic Community. Mm-hmm. 10 major armies are already together now, and they ruling the whole West. He said they're in the bottomless pit. Why do you mean? Because ain't nobody noticing them, sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. Nobody know what's going on. 10 nations, all of a sudden they done taken over all of Western Europe. They even called them the 10. They have a common currency. They have common military. They have common law, and the whole world is sleeping on it, especially the so-called Christian world.
That's right.
It's just like them, like they hid in a pit with no bottom.
That's right.
You can't see them. But all of a sudden, when this star fall there, this is his army, because God done put him under his tutorage, he's going to drag him out. It's time for you to play now.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
4. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing,
go ahead,
nor any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their forehead.
See, I don't want you to hurt nothing but the people that I didn't see. Because now I done dealt with the earth, now I'm dealing with people. Go ahead and read.
And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion.
Go ahead.
When he strike of a man. And in those days...
Now look, he said, I want you to torment them for 5 months. I don't want to kill them. This is only two kind of walls, sisters and brothers. That have to be germ or chemical warfare. Well, you can hit people, but don't kill them. Because they don't want to kill the people in Eastern Europe and the rest of the world. They want to bring them all under one banner. They even have one of them catechisms they have, pray for Russia. They don't want to kill Russia. They want to recruit Russia in that whole Eastern bloc. They want to bring them all under the banner because they're steadily trying to recreate the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, or the last little Roman Empire that was in charge of the whole world. We don't want to kill them. We want to bring them into the fold. We want to reconcile our brothers.
That's right.
For 5 months. But remember now, where's Jesus? He's sitting there. He's looking at you. You looking at him. For at least 5 months, sisters and brothers. This is what people don't understand.
That's right.
He's still sitting there. We're looking at it. It ain't like, boom, here comes the Lord. You're going to know the source of your headaches.
That's right.
Because you're going to be looking at it. Think about what you're reading here, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them.
That must be some terrible punishment that the Western Europeans are putting on the Eastern Europeans and beyond. I mean, that's had to be some real. I'm talking about you are suffering so bad until you want to die, and you can't die. That has to be some real suffering.
Yes, sir.
But after a while, Eastern Europeans say, hey, I ain't taking no more of this stuff. But let's see who was orchestrating this battle. Skip down to verse 11. Verse 11 and go ahead.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
Oh, so this is the one that fell in the bottomless pit, this king. Who is it?
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. But in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
Don't you know both of them mean destroyer?
That's right.
That's all he is. This is Satan here. He is a destroyer. That's his intention is destroy. Even before iniquity was found in him, when he got thrown out, the other angels rejoiced. The whole heaven rejoiced. So because he accused us day and night before the Lord.
That's right.
But woe unto you on earth. He coming down to you. Think about it. That's why I tell people always accusing somebody, you better be careful. You might be serving somebody you don't know about. Go ahead and read.
One war is past. Behold, there come 2 wars more hereafter.
That's why I said, whoa, 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 that one pass. He gonna hurt you so bad until you wish you're gonna die. Satan gonna be calling this thing. 1 war is past, and behold, there come 2 wars hereafter. Go ahead and read.
And the 6th angel sounded. And I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God.
Go ahead.
Saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Now, when that 6th angel blew, that 6th angel with the violent rat, he blew it out. He poured his angel out. So he said, but loose the 4 angels that are bound in the great river Euphrates. Remember, did he tell the angels to hold back the 4 winds of heaven?
That's right.
Don't hurt nothing until he sealed his servant. He said, okay, let him go now. Go ahead and read.
And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the 3rd part of men.
See, that's why them angels don't drop the ball on their job. Right. Each angel has a specific job. That's why it is an innumerable amount. This is my job. I've been sitting here for 6,000 years.
Just wait.
Then the angel that's calling the shot for us, okay, tell them they go. Your time to perform. And they're going to do it too.
That's right.
Let's see what happened when they come across. Go ahead and read.
And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000.
See, they worked through men. And what they happened was, when they was loose, they were sent to kill a 3rd part of men. Do you know how many? Can you imagine how many people that is?
Yeah.
Look what would happen if you just killed a 3rd part of Americans here. This is a 3rd part of men. And people talking about this little genocide that's going on in Syria. That's going to look like a flag football game compared to this. And so he come on, and the army that he used to do it was 200,000. Don't you know that's 200 million soldiers?
That's right.
That's why I know that all of the nations east of Turkey is going to be under the banner of Russia, because the Lord told you in Ezekiel, called Magog, Gog and Magog, you be a shield and a buckler to them. That's why the Chinese and the Russians and all the people over there, all the Polish, Lithuanians, all them people on the east, they don't know it yet, but they're going to come under the banner of Russia. Because it takes a lot of nations to produce 200 million, not just people, soldiers.
Soldiers, that's right.
200 million soldiers. Don't you know you can kill a lot of people with 200 million soldiers?
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
John didn't know what to call them. He looked at all this war material. All of a sudden, it looked like a horse that opened his mouth and fired a muzzle blast, smoke and everything. He saw modern material. He tried his best. But we know what's going on. Because it is for us to know, because we are in this time and we have these weapons.
That's right.
What verse?
Verse 18. By these three was the third part of men killed. By the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone was issued out of their mouths.
1/3 part of men. Remember now. That was the East killing the West. It don't count. See, first the West just wanted to punish the East and get them under the umbrella, but they must have overplayed their hand, punished them too much, and the East said, no, we're going to kill them all. So when they start killing, quite naturally, the West going to start killing too. Now this third part of men is just talking about what the East is killing. Now let's go and look at this same thing. This is the trumpet. Now let's go and see what the vial of wrath is done. Remember, he said, loose the angels that was in the river Euphrates, didn't he?
That's right.
So let's go into Revelation the 16th chapter and pursue this same thing. But we go pursue it under the vial of wrath. Because remember, the trumpet calls, announces the condition. It announces the wrath. It announces the coming of a king. It announces, it musters the people to the back. The trumpets do.
That's
Once
right.
the trumpets blow, then here come the wrath. We're going to start at verse 12, 16 and 12. Revelation 16 and verse 12. Okay, go ahead.
And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates.
Now, why is it on the great river Euphrates? Because that's what he said when the trumpet blew. He said, loose the 4 angels in the great river Euphrates.
Right.
So, this is represent the river being dried up. Go ahead and read.
And the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
So, who are the kings of the east of Russia, east of Turkey, sisters and brothers? Russia, China, all those people over there. He gives you a clear geographical location of where these 200 million soldiers going to come from. The kings of the east. The Lord is about informing you, sisters and brothers. Don't want to make you all happy and jump up and down and fall over chairs. He want to inform you so you know when it's time to run.
That's right.
And the Euphrates was dried up to make the way of the kings of the east. Go ahead and read.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Sisters and brothers, that's the conversation. Because Satan is an unclean spirit. So how does the unclean spirit come out of the mouth of an unclean spirit?
Right.
That means, you know, it's just like your tongue. Everything is started first with conversation. So they are the ones that call in the people to battle. They think, but we're going to see who is really calling this battle. Go ahead and read.
For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
Wait a minute, whose battle is it?
God Almighty.
This is the Lord's battle, sisters and brothers. Because this is what he's going to have to take to get this world's attention. He plead, he begged, and you still won't keep his law. Now he is taking out the baseball bat.
That's right.
Conversation is over with now. There's a time for everything. And so once, and they gather them together for the battle of God Almighty. This is what the battle of Armageddon, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame.
He said, I come as a thief. Blessed of he that watches and keepeth his garment. But you watch it. That's why the Lord tell you to watch and pray. First thing is, you got to know what to watch for. And nobody ever told you what to watch for, then what you're praying for. He will not come as a thief to us. Because Jesus told us even how to beat the great tribulation. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever read, let him understand. Yeah. If you're on the housetop, flee. If you're in the field, flee. Don't go out to get your clothes.
That's right.
And he showed about that woman fled into the wilderness where he have a place prepared for her to miss all of this. But if you don't have no knowledge, he's going to come to you just like a thief in the night.
That's right.
And the Lord told you, if the good man of the house had known what time the thief was come, what hour the thief was coming, he would have been there to protect his house with it.
That's right.
Because the world is going to get caught sleeping on this. Go ahead and read.
16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Now, most everybody done heard the word Armageddon, Battle of Armageddon. You don't know how it's going to come. You don't know who's going to bring it about. You don't know that you can escape it. But the Lord gathered them in a place that's called Armageddon, which is a place of truth. Let's go and look at this battle. Let's go into Joel, the 2nd chapter. Joel, the 2nd chapter. So that's why, sisters and brothers, we don't just keep these Sabbath days just to keep tradition. These days you're supposed to teach what it represents.
That's right.
You're supposed to be more informed after one of these days than you was before you showed up. Because it is to show you how to deliver yourself. Because the Lord had Peter write, deliver yourself from this untoward generation. Had Paul write, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. If you're going to deliver yourself and you're going to work out your own salvation, you have to have some knowledge, sisters and brothers. Because knowledge is the foundation of all things. And people, when you go to church, they would have, you don't have to have no knowledge. All you got to do is believe on Christ. Believe that Christ, confess with your tongue, believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Christ came in the flesh and you shall be saved. Then I take them to look at that legion of devils that saw Christ coming. Hey, we know who you are. Thou Son of God, are you coming to persecute me before my time? He said, shut up. Well, don't cast us out of the coast. Could you let us go into them herd of swine down there? He said, go ahead. All them devils confessed.
That's right.
That he came in the flesh. You think they're going to be in the kingdom?
Nope.
See there? You're slipping. They are going to be in the kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
But what part of the kingdom?
What part of the kingdom? The other side.
The lake of fire.
That's right.
You know, the word of God deals with absolutes, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
Absolutes. That's what I like about this God. Joel 2:1. Let's see how it sounds, how it starts out. Joel, the 2nd chapter and verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion.
Do what?
Blow ye the trumpet.
Because everything starts with the trumpet, sisters and brothers. If the trumpet don't blow, it don't happen. God set it in order like that. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Go ahead and read.
And sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Sound an alarm. Go ahead and read.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. Didn't we read in Revelation, the 6th chapter, that when the heaven rolled back, the people ran for rocks and stones to hide us from the face of the land? For the day of his wrath is come. This is what is called the day of the Lord, sister and brother.
That's right.
No more talking now. It's time for drama. Go ahead and read.
A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and of thick darkness.
Go ahead.
As the mountain spread upon, the morning spread upon the mountain. A great people and a strong. They have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
He said, look, this is a day of darkness and gloominess. You ain't never seen no day like this. A great people. What great people? The Eastern European sisters and brothers under the banner of Russia.
That's right.
200 million soldiers. Go ahead and read.
A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth.
Go ahead.
The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, nothing shall escape them.
200 million soldiers, what king?
That's right.
Said before him, says a flame divine before him. In front of him is just like the Garden of Eden, but behind him is nothing but waste and destruction.
Yeah, that's right.
They're going to kill everything that they get their hand on. But this is going to go down on this earth.
That's right.
And who's going to do it? Jesus.
That's right, brother.
Skip down to verse 10. Verse 10 and go ahead.
The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And the stars shall withdraw their shining.
How many times that's going to happen?
One time.
See, the Lord give you that key that he gave you in the 6th chapter of Revelation to let you know this is the time. The prophets told about it. I can take the other and show you the prophets told you about it. Why don't you know this? You've been in church for 40 years. How come you don't know this?
That's right.
This same Bible been sitting in front of you, or sitting in the little box in the back of the pew all these years. How come you don't know this? Something as detrimental as this is.
That's right, bro.
Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 11. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army.
Before whose army?
His army.
Yes, sir. The Lord moved. This is what people understand. The Lord can run it all. That's why I tell people, Satan worked for God.
That's right.
When he found out he wasn't worthy to do the good work, he gave him the dirty work.
That's right.
Since you won't set the sheets, clean sheets on the bed, I'm going to go down and let you wash the toilets. But you going to work. Because you are a ministering spirit. I created you to serve, and you going to serve.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead and read.
For his camp is very great. For he is strong and executive his word.
Yes.
For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. And who can abide it? Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And rend your heart and not your garments. And turn unto the Lord your God. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil.
He said, so turn to him when this drama is coming. He's grateful and merciful. Even if you see, the drama got to keep on. But you might pray yourself in the good standing. See, because he is merciful and he repented himself of evil. Oh, brother boy, the Lord don't do no evil. Who created evil?
Lord.
Who bringing this?
Lord.
But that's the day of the Lord, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
But every time an act took place, 7 trumpets. We got the 6 trumpets, didn't we? Remember, we got the 2 woes, but we got another woe coming.
That's right.
Let's go into Revelation and look at this 3rd and last woe. And you know what's so bad about it? This Revelation is New Testament here.
That's right.
I look at all this carnage and all this devastation and all this killing and all this blood. My flag would go, wait a minute, how come why haven't I been told this? Especially if it's in the same book that I've been had on my lap for 40 years. Then somebody said, well, maybe you should have read it yourself. You read a contract when you about to buy a living room set more thorough than you do for the Bible, and this is for eternal life. Think about it. Revelation 11 and 14, verse 14. Okay, go ahead. Verse 14, 11 and 14.
And the second war is past.
And the second war is past. Now here come the big one. Go ahead and read.
And behold, the third war coming quickly. And the 7th angel sounded.
And the 7th angel sounded.
And there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
Did the people in Jericho hold on to Jericho when the walls fell?
That's right.
Neither the world the people going to hold on to this earth when the Lord come down. Just like Jericho fell, so falls the earth. The same way. The kingdom of this world have become the kingdom of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And the 4 and 20 elders were set before God on their seats, fell upon their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord God Almighty, which art and was and art to come.
Go ahead.
because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned.
Now, why is it all of a sudden you see these 4 and 20 elders that was redeemed from the earth are there? It's because when that 7th angel sounded, that's also going to bring the first resurrection.
That's right.
Think about it, sisters and brothers. The Lord had this thing laid out. Say, he was taken to him his great power, and he is running, and he reigned. Go ahead and read.
And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come.
Go ahead.
And the time of the dead that they should be judged. That thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Now it's time to do that. Destroy those that destroy the earth. Go ahead and read.
And the temple of God was opened in heaven. For there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail.
That's let you know. Now that's what happened on that 7th trumpet. Let's go into Revelation 16th chapter. Because each trumpet calls the destruction. The trumpet itself don't make it. It sets in order, announces that, okay, here it comes. Verse 17, Revelation 16 and verse 17. Okay, go ahead.
And the 7th angel poured out his vial into the air.
Now when that 7th trumpet blew, this vial that he poured out into the air, that's what did all of that damage we just got through reading. These angels. Go ahead and read.
And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, It is done.
Now you notice something? The priest blow the trumpets. Here come the Lord behind the priest, and the soldiers go to war. That's why the earth is going to be knocked down, just like it was in Moses' day, just like it was in Joshua's day.
That's right.
Nothing changed. Go ahead and read.
And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great.
Go ahead.
And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God.
Go ahead.
To give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail. For the plague thereof was exceeding great.
So that 7th trumpet brought drama, and it brought the Lord, sisters and brothers. Let's go and look at it. Let's go into 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. This is where people go to get to rapture. I'm reading a book, the brother used the word rapture, but then he knew what he was talking about. I said, I'm going to give him a telephone call and say, look here, brother. Everything was right, but you could have got a better word. Because the world is so deceived, sisters and brothers, you can't hardly use anything except for Jesus. You got to use that. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, because this is what brings the Lord, sisters and brothers. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 14. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 14. Okay, go ahead.
For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him.
See, he said it's time to reward the dead, didn't he? So he's going to bring them with him. But lie, he's in heaven and the dead is in the ground and on top of the ground. So something has to take place. Go ahead and read.
But this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, if we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord should not prevent them which are asleep.
Go ahead.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel.
He said, look, I want you to understand one thing. Those that are living when the Lord comes, because you know people don't think that there's going to be some living people here. That old saying they always got, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. Going to be some people living here.
That's right.
But they ain't going to die. They're going to be changed. So when the Lord comes, the dead, he said, well, those that are living are not going to prevent them that are dead or asleep in that day. Go ahead and read.
For the Lord will himself shall descend from heaven with
I want you to pay attention to this. And the Lord shall descend from heaven with what?
With a shout. And with the voice of the archangel. And with the trump of God.
Now what did Joshua tell the people at Jericho?
Shout.
Blow the trumpet and shout.
That's right.
It's happening the same way. The Lord wants to let you know, I just gave you a preview of how this thing is going to end. Just like Israel went in and took the promised land, the same way the Lord and his saints going to come and take down the earth.
That's right.
The Lord shall ascend with the trumpet and with the shout of the archangel. Go ahead and read.
And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be ever with the Lord.
Now, people read that and stopped there. You see, that's the rapture. Wait a minute. Sure, you're caught up to meet him in the air, because they already told you, the prophet said that you're going to come with him. So if he is in heaven, and you are on the earth, or in the earth, in order for you to come with him, don't you have to meet him somewhere in between?
That's right.
I'm going to show you what the prophet Paul was quoting. Let's go into Zechariah the 14th chapter. Zechariah the 14th chapter. This is what people don't understand. The prophets told it all. Every time, well, the Old New Testament that's been fulfilled. Then I go and read to them about the white throne judgment, the first and the last resurrection, the lake of fire,
right,
the coming of the Lord. Well, I didn't know that. Of course you didn't, because you didn't bother to read. Zechariah chapter 14. Like I told him in Atlanta yesterday, I said, if I offended somebody, I meant to. Because I want you to be offended. Because you're going to get in this Bible and prove me wrong. And the more you prove me wrong, the more you're going to find out maybe I'm not so wrong. That old saying I used to say all the time, the older I got, the smarter my daddy got. Come to the conclusion I was the dumb one. I thought he was the square. Think about it. Zechariah 14 and verse 1. 14 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
Behold, the day of the Lord cometh.
What day is this?
The day of the Lord.
Hideth from the wrath of the Lamb.
That's right.
For his day is what?
It cometh.
His day is at hand. Go ahead and read. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh. Go ahead.
And thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And the cities shall be taken, and the houses shall be rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the cities shall go forth into captivity. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Now
look, you see, that's why I tell people that's going over there in Jerusalem now. Some of the brothers going on, we going on to the promised land. We are in the kingdom of God. Look, sisters and brothers, that's the wrong place to be. Even when you're in the right place, if you're there at the wrong time, it's the wrong place.
That's right.
Because when they build a temple in Jerusalem, the abomination of desolation is going to move into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the political head of Western Europe is going to be located there. So where Russia what's they talking going to be at? Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, yep.
And if you just happen to be in the way, you're what they call collateral damage.
That's right.
Your house is going to be shot up. Your daughters and your wives are going to be raped. And the Lord is going to allow it to do it because he is the one that brought them across that Euphrates River.
That's right.
Now, being that the 7 trumpets blown, it is time for him to go into action. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read.
3. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives.
Go ahead.
Which is before Jerusalem on the east.
Now, where's Mount of Olives in East Jerusalem, man?
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west.
Now, look, it's only fitting that his feet touch the Mount of Olives, because in Acts, when Jesus left this earth for the last time, his apostles was looking up at it. Then these 2 angels, which the book called men. Mm-hmm. So you men of Israel, why are you gazing up? This same Jesus that you see going up is going to come back in like manner. Then it said, and they left from the Mount of Olives.
Right.
His feet going to hit the mount, and he coming in power. That mountain is going to split in the middle on this earth. But he ain't coming by himself. Go ahead and read.
And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it towards the south. And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yeah, you shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah.
Go ahead.
And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
Wait a minute, the Lord's going to come, but he's going to have all the saints with him. Where did he get the saints from, sisters and brothers?
Well, they met him in there.
They met him in there.
That's right.
These are the people that are in the first resurrection. Which a lot of people have been in church all their life and they don't even know about the first resurrection.
That's right.
They don't know that there's more than one. They're going to meet the Lord in the air, and they're all going to come back to the earth. Jesus is going to tell it to you again. Let's go into Matthew, the 24th chapter. And I just have two more places after this. But I just want to let you know it is the trumpet, sisters and brothers.
That's right.
The trumpet's going to call it. When this seventh trumpet blows, a whole lot of stuff going to happen. But until that time that the seventh trumpet take place, and if you're in the first resurrection, you have your most daunting task is to stay alive. Because if you don't receive the mark of the beast, or either if you don't receive the mark of the beast, you got to be very blessed or very lucky or in the place of safety. Because you're not going to receive it. A lot of people in the world are going to receive it. You know why? It's because they're being accustomed to receiving the mark of the beast. They give it to them every Ash Wednesday. They don't know it's written in Revelation that you're going to receive a mark in your forehead and in your right hand. And they do it to you, and you don't know what's going on. That is the cost of ignorance. I tell people all the time, ignorance is costly. That old thing, what you don't know won't hurt you, the biggest lie ever been told. Most people are heard about things that they don't know about. If you knew somebody's in the streets going to shoot you, would you go out there? Think about it, sisters and brothers. Everything's the been written verse. Matthew 24 and verse 27. We're going to start at verse 27. Okay, read it.
Whereas the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
He's letting you know now. See, the reason the Lord put this here, sisters and brothers, because once the abomination of desolation move into the holy place, which is going to be in Jerusalem, the temple they're going to build, the whole earth is going to be all over the news. Christ is back. And the Lord going to get his man the power to do some miracles. He's going to have the power to make fire come down from heaven. Mm-hmm. They're going to make a statue, and I ain't talking about no computer. And this man going to make this statue. Everybody going to see him. They're going to have it all over the news. This statue is constructed of stones and iron. And then this man going to blue, blue, blue. And this statue is going to start walking and talking. You say, and if you don't have no knowledge, you're going to say, if this ain't God in the temple over there, there ain't no God. But if you have some knowledge, you're going to say, I was waiting for him to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Why? It's because you are one of the very elect. And you know what makes you a very elect? Foreknowledge.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
Had I known the snake was in the bush, I wouldn't have tried to jump over it. But because I knew he was in the bush, I went another way and walked way around it. That knowledge will save you every time. Verse 29. Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Notice how the Lord always have a key there to let you know this is the same time. Mm-hmm. Always, so you won't be confused. We read about this in Revelation. We read about it in Joel. We can read about it in Isaiah. The Lord give you the key.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Go ahead.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Why should all the tribes of the earth mourn when sweet Jesus is coming?
Yes, sir.
Think about it. All the tribes of the earth are going to be mourning because there's going to be some real drama. Remember, them 3 woes was worse than the 4 before. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read.
And he shall send his angel with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
Now, this is something that the whole world overlooked. The Lord's elect is Israel. Remember now, this ain't talking about the people in the first resurrection. They're going to be changed. And they are going to be raised, and they're going to meet the Lord in the air. But once he hit here, he's going to send an angel with a great trumpet. That's when the deliverance started. They're going to gather his elect from one end of the earth to the other. That let me know that I don't know who that is in Jerusalem, but it is not you. Somebody tell me the Jews are back. I'll be looking. What you looking for? I'm looking for Jesus. Isaiah 27. Show you what I'm talking about. Isaiah 27. That's why I don't get mad when I see people all up in there, get crazy, telling lies. I don't care. If you ask me, I'll tell you what the truth is.
That's right.
But if you insist on believing, ain't no thing. Well, I'm mad at them people over there and took our place. No, you didn't take it. You abdicated it. You got wrong. You messed up, and the Lord threw you out. It was an empty house. They just walked in. Nice house, furniture, house, everything here. You're not here because somebody else behaving. You're here because you're misbehaving.
That's right.
That's why you're here. But we don't like to acknowledge that. That's why I used to go to the so-called Hebrew meetings with the other brothers. I always get into it with them because they have a memory lapse. They keep trying to put our atrocity at the feet of the Gentiles. No, it is your God that put you, and told you he was going to do it to you before he did it.
That's right.
He told everything that's happening to you now until the day, and from the day that you got thrown out, was told to you before you got into the promised land the first time. The first time. You had a whole lot of years to ponder this. You had a whole lot of time to get it right. And you had the best instructions. The Lord didn't say, well, I'm going to give them what do they call it when they give you answer? You got 3 answers out there. Mm-hmm. He didn't give you no multiple choice. He gave you directly what he wants you to have.
That's right.
We dropped the ball. But he also let me know, until that 7th trumpet is blown, you're going to be right here or somewhere else. But you ain't going to be in Israel. Isaiah 27. We're going to start at verse 12. Isaiah 27 and verse 12. 27 and 12. Okay, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt. And ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel.
That's why I tell people, just like it was in Egypt, there's not going to be one Israelite left nowhere on this planet. He's going to gather you if you hid under a rock, buried in a cave behind a mountain. Somebody going to come dig you out, dust you off. I'm taking you to Israel because the Lord is going to bless me for delivering up you.
That's right.
So he's going to deliver you one by one, O Israel. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass in that day.
And it shall come to pass in that day.
That the great trumpet shall be blown.
Oh, that trumpet is again, ain't it?
7th trumpet. Man.
That great trumpet shall be blown. Go ahead.
And they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem.
Not only they that are ready to perish in Egypt and Assyria, but everywhere. Because it's going to get rough. As the resources dry up, who do you think going to be the last one at the end of the eating line? You.
That's right.
If you got 2 biscuits, we'll give you a crumb. 1 biscuit, we ain't giving you nothing. You got to go out and fend for yourself. Mm-hmm. They that are ready to perish, what? At the last trumpet. So when that 7th trumpet's blown, sisters and brothers, a whole lot of take place. Right. One other place. Let's go into 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. I mean, it's all over the book, sisters and brothers. The Lord ain't sending another Moses to nobody. He's going to come and deliver you yourself. He even told you that in Deuteronomy the 30th chapter. After he put the curses and the blessing on you, he said when it's over with, then he's going to return and gather you. He's going to return. He's going to do this himself. 1 Corinthians 15, and we're going to start at verse 51. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 51. The Lord didn't put it all here, sisters and brothers. There's no reason to be uninformed. No reason to be uninformed. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and verse 51. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I show you a mystery.
And this is a mystery. Go ahead and read.
We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
Now, what you mean? How is that a mystery? You know why it's a mystery? Because people tell you that now, that is not Sister Rosa there at her funeral. That's just her shell. She have made her homecoming.
That's right.
She looking down on us smiling. That's the biggest lie ever been told. When did that lie start? In the Garden of Eden. When the Lord told the woman, Adam, and Adam told the woman, the day that you eat of that tree, that's the day you're going to die.
You're going to die.
The serpent, which is saying the devil, says, surely you're not going to die. If that's not Sister Rosa there, and she's in heaven looking down on me smiling, is she dead? Think about it, sisters and brothers. I just want to give you some food for thought, because you have so many flaws that you've been taught in the name of the Lord until I can't afford to pass by any. Go ahead and read.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump.
Wait a minute, when the dead going to be raised?
At the last trump.
So now, that's the seventh trumpet, ain't it?
That's right.
So if the dead are going to be raised at the last trump, then where is the dead? Don't take no rocket science to realize that, don't you?
That's right.
So don't let nobody get you in church and dumbing you down.
That's right.
You can read. The Lord educated you. He gave his truth in every language. That's why he said, in a stammering lip. First he said, whom shall we teach knowledge? And to whom shall we reveal the arm of the Lord?
Yes.
Those that wane from the milk, that's the sweet milk of the word, and drawn from the breast. For I'm going to teach them line upon line, precept upon precept. He'll little and they'll little. With the stammering lip of another tongue will I speak to this people. Whatever language you speak, he wrote a book in it. Listen to your preacher, then go home and read the book. You can check him out.
That's right.
What people don't know is that Satan got a whole lot of preachers too.
Mm-hmm.
He even had 400 of them in the days of Ahab.
Yeah, that's right.
You know the population is bigger now. You probably can't figure out how many he got with a calculator.
Mm-hmm.
But at the dead going to be raised at the sound of the last trump. Go ahead and read.
For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Go ahead.
For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality.
Now look, he said, for the trumpet shall sound, and we shall be saved. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Don't you know people never even think about that when you go to church?
No.
You don't think that God created you to be him. That's why he did something for you. You don't even know what he did. God is one family, but more than one participant. Like right now is the Father, which is Jesus, and Jesus, which is Jesus Jr. Ain't no God the Holy Ghost.
That's right. That's right.
And he did something to you so you will understand that God don't mean an individual, because he named you man. How many people in here is man?
Everybody.
Y'all get the drift?
That's right.
So now you know why we have these trumpets, don't you?
That's right.
Thank you for your time.